this week's episode of Sound the Alarm. We are joined by Paul Smith. Happy birthday. And Gabby today she's of Chaos Merch, Venomous Pinks, all sorts of different things. What's going on today, guys?
Woo. As you said, it's still my birthday for 19 minutes here, unless my clock is wrong. But other than that, I've been in full birthday mode.
Good, as you should be.
And how are you doing, Abby?
Pretty good. Just been working all day. Just about ready to clock out, so really stoked to make an interview.
There we go. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, and today's interview is a project you guys have been working on together for a few months now. Basis Against Racists. Paul, you design, Gabby, you're selling, but this month is a little different because you're highlighted on a shirt this month. How's that feel like?
It's really weird. I think it's going to be weirder when I have to print myself. It sounds weird and it feels weird, and it's going to be really weird when I'm printing it. And yeah, it's weird, but it's going good so far. Good sales. So
you need to take a page out of Simeon's book and just keep printing pictures of yourself on shirts, because he's all about that. So, and then the more you do it, the less weird it'll get. But as we said in the last one, when me and Gabby were both like, oh, you should be on the first shirt, and Lynn was like, no, and then we were talking, and then Lynn said, oh, Gabby will be on one, and then Gabby's like, no. So it's, I've kind of been in the middle going yes to both of you. Like, why is this even a question?
And then the rest of us are going like, Paul, you should be on the shirt, and Paul's like, full stop, no.
No. My like I said last time, my bass playing is mediocre at best. So,
well, technically, Paul is in every shirt because 1, he designs it, and 2, he hides his little logo in places. And when I'm trying to do the screen, I make sure I get that little logo, so it's hidden in there always, and it's pretty fun to try to find it.
Well, we said eventually if you get like an extra like punch card for every shirt you get, maybe that way you win the logo or something at the end. Just a shirt with the logo. All over the place.
Yeah. Still need to work on an actual logo for the kind of campaign. Which, like I was saying, if I can upgrade to an iPad, that's going to be one of my first kind of jobs. So yeah, but yeah, it's been good. It's been interesting because obviously last time we were talking about how Lynn was the kind of brainchild of it, whereas me and Gabby were the ones that were kind of like, oh, okay, Lynn wants us to do this thing, and and I don't know what it was like for you, Gabby, but for me, I was just like, really, me? It was a bit kind of came from left field for me, but I don't know how much of a conversation you'd had with Lynn before the actual idea happened.
I've hit her up before to be part of like the Chaos Merch. Like, hey, Lynn, like you're fucking awesome, and you should have your own like brand or shirt. But that was way back, maybe 6 months before, and she was like, "No, I don't. That'd be cool, but she didn't really have anything at the time." And then eventually, she hit me up. And she's like, hey, I'm working on these Basis Against Racist shirts. You print and you're a woman and like you own your own shop. So she hit me up and I'm like, yeah, dude, of course I'll do it. Like, I just like had to tell her like, I'll do it. I don't care like how we do it, but we need to be part of this. And then I think in that conversation, we're like, Paul should be the designer because he's done everything for us. So even the shirt I'm wearing right now. So, so Paul's just part of like the punk rock US scene now, so there you go, Paul.
So weird. It's true. Like everybody knows who Paul is, and it does. Paul feels like you're here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just getting my claws into as many different areas as I can, and then just like one day I can be like, maybe I should move there.
You should move.
I know enough people. Yeah, it is strange because I never consider myself to kind of be. We've said this before, but I never consider myself to be, kind of in the areas that I'm kind of in. But obviously, you know, I am, but again, I don't know. It's like, but I'm, you know, I just sit in my bedroom and draw things like, and people know what it is. It's strange. Like I still can't seem to get my head around it, but and then so for this to come along, it's been great because not only is there the potential to work with people that, you know, that I know who they are, and, you know, off the top of my head would never have any kind of concept of how I would get in contact with them. But then that's kind of almost being brought to me. And then that means potentially in the future, it's going to be like, look, I've done this, you know, and charity work's always a good thing as well. Doing things for a good cause is always good things. And I know for a fact that it's kind of getting Gaby's name out there, well, the Chaos merch out there, because I see it everywhere when people are sharing. It's always that name that's kind of popping up, and it's great. It's great. It's, you know, it's kind of weird because you're doing a good thing, but then you're also, you know, you're getting that fulfillment of doing a good thing, but you're also getting something else in return as well, which I kind of like when I did the artwork last year when all the protests were happening over there, and I did the kind of anti-racist drawing with the three panels, and people kept saying sell it, and I was like, I know, but I don't feel comfortable selling it when it's for that reason, whereas this is not off the back. Well, I mean, it is off the back of a negative thing, but it's coming from a good place. So I always feel that, like, that's really good. And like I say, it's great to see, you know, Gaby's name just kind of, because I mean, I remember you first posting that you'd bought your printing things. I was like, oh, so cool. And then now it's like, look at all the printing stuff I've got. It's everywhere.
A year of hard work. But it's been fun. Yeah.
Now, Paul brought in something that was interesting, that he feels it's weird to see his designs out there. Do you find that, like, say if somebody's walking around with like a Venomous Pink shirt or Chaos merch shirt or something that you've directly worked on, does that feel kind of like, do you get that like, oh wow, like that's my stuff that's on there? Or is it kind of like now it's sort of normal, you've seen it for a while?
Was that for me or for Paul?
Oh, for you.
Because it's kind of both like his design.
I guess, like, a lot of it has been Paul too. Like, oh my gosh.
Like literally Paul is like on every like logo, like yesterday Authority Zero posted like they got a new guitarist, and the bassist Mike Sparrow was wearing the very first Chaos merch logo shirt, and that thing got like hundreds of shares and like comments, and I'm like, oh, that's sweet. Like I printed that and Paul made that logo, so now it's like all over the place. So it's really, it's still weird to me, but it's pretty cool. I guess it'll be weirder when we can go to shows and festivals and like, or like in the UK we see the Bassist Against Racists. I'll probably be like, oh my god, I printed that. Like so it's still weird, but it's awesome.
Yeah. I guess because you know, it's been kind of, you mostly started this during the pandemic, really. Chaos merch, it wasn't long, so you've not really been able to go out and about to kind of see them with your eyes out in the wild and be like, oh my god, that's mine. So you know, but yeah, hopefully it'll the world will right itself. But yeah, it is the seeing the Bassist Against Racist shirts on people in the UK is definitely a bizarre one.
Yeah, and like people have been tagging me. Like I send little thank you cards and like tag us or whatever, and that's worked so well. Like it's like pretty much free marketing, and like they tag you and you reshare it, but the amount has been like a lot, like 1, 2, 3 a day, just people taking selfies with the shirts, and like they love the whole idea around it. So it's pretty cool, but I think it'll hit me once I see it in person. So
yeah, it's so weird still that, you know, you're the one that you do everything at your printing shop. You're taking it, you're printing it, you're shipping it, so you get to kind of see where everything's going. And I'm sure there's sometimes you're just looking at it and going like, whoa, like I'm actually shipping it there of all places.
Mm-hmm. So Australia was probably the one. I shipped 2 things to Australia, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, that's gone really far." And one, I still have to check if it actually made it, because it shows that something happened, but it shows that it made it. And I emailed the person, and I haven't heard back. So hopefully, they got the very first one, the Lynn shirt, and they ordered a mug or something. So it's like, so that one's pretty cool.
I'd probably assume that it got there. I would say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna assume. I haven't heard anything.
I when I designed on one of the old sites that I used to use, and I could see when people ordered things, and then I stopped using that site, and then I suddenly got a message like 4 years after I stopped using that website, and it said, "Where is my order?" Like 4 years after and I was like, "Well, sorry, I assumed that you'd got it." But they never replied, so I don't know what was going on with that. But yeah, I'd say unless you hear something in 3 years,
Yeah,
you know. So
yeah. Maybe by then we'll have the reprint of Lynn's shirt.
Lynn 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because we've kind of changed the format a little bit. If you notice on the design for Gaby, we've got Gaby's signature on it, because we thought it'd kind of tie it all together a little bit more. It'd feel like it was a little bit more connected to the person that the shirt is of. I had the idea of asking people to just like doodle something, and then I can incorporate it, whether it's like on their shirt, in the design, or the background. But so far we've got the autograph, and Gaby was more than happy to give me her autograph.
It was horrible. I have the worst handwriting ever. So I just like sent them like 3 or 4. I'm like, dude, these suck. I don't think you should use them. But Paul's got a way of just doing it. So, and it turned out, it looked I don't know, it looks better.
It looks better, she said.
It looks better. So from what I wrote, it was like scribbles on my piece of paper.
I literally took it from the paper and put it on the design and turned it white. That was the only thing. So
Sold.
yeah.
So was it like a digital signature, or was it actually like to a paper, you set that off and then like scanned it over or whatever, and then
Literally, I'm in the shop and I'm like, shit, I forgot to send them the signature. So I did like 4 or 5 my signatures, whatever. And I'm like, here, Paul, just took a picture and sent it over. And
I'm wondering whether I've still got it on my phone.
You probably-
Yeah, because Lynn, it's better asking people to do anything on a computer. Like, I know that Gaby can use Photoshop and things, but future people might not necessarily be very kind of into their computers. So, and Lynn's always been very, it has to be as easy as possible for people. We don't want any stress, any problems. She always says that when we have a meeting, she's like, whatever's easiest for you. I don't want it to be any hassle and things. So yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Hang on.
oh, we're out. Oh,
That's funny.
my beautiful artwork.
it's a
So,
cute.
I literally just took it from, I think, the bottom one and just copied over it. It's fine. But because, you can easily lift something off a photo as long as it's a nice dark signature on a nice white piece of paper, or vice versa. As long as the contrast is very big, you can easily lift it off. So yeah.
So part what's that? Just basis against racist, but how's Chaos Merch doing? Like, you've been busy. You're definitely working with businesses and stuff like that. We see your posts of you making your shirts. So there's business coming to you, which is great, especially during pandemic. People are still, I feel like I've gone merch crazy this last year.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way to help support musicians at this point, and businesses too. So I've been Like I still work a full-time job, so I've been lucky to pick and choose who to work with. But it's usually friends or just word of mouth that I get the business, and if I can do it, sure, I'll do it, and it works out pretty good. And yeah, I've been keeping really busy, and actually this has been the first week I haven't printed anything.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm kind of just like, what else do I need to do? So I've been doing 10,000 other things before I got to print my shirts, and then Drea's Ozzy's uh, shirt. So that's going to be interesting too. And
Yeah.
I'm making Drea help me on those. So
Oh,
hopefully I don't make her cry. But,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, for people who may not know, Drea, who's also on Venomous Pinks, unfortunately, her cat passed, Ozzy, after surgery. So she spent, I believe, it was $10,000 on the surgery and the recovery. Sadly, Ozzy did not make it. So you guys are doing a run of shirts. Paul designed the Ozzy shirt. So we'll put it here so you guys can see. And definitely goes to helping Drea with her vet costs. Yeah, you are definitely very charitable too. Like we talk about community often on this show because I feel that the punks have the best community, to be honest. You know, we're more than happy to go and help a fellow punk out. And you guys have been a shining example of that.
yeah, I like to, I don't know, it just kind of, I'm very of a person like kind of spiritual, but also like the more you give, the more you'll get and do good. So I don't know. I think the first benefit we did was Sidewalk Project. We've always worked with them, and we're like, oh, I print stuff, so let's print a shirt to benefit. And then Paul drew it. So pretty much everything we've done, Paul's drawn it. So he's just part of Chaos Merch now. He's the designer.
I feel like we're the same way though.
Right.
You know, like a lot of the stuff that we have pumped out,
Right.
You can see Paul in it. You know, from our Camp Pennsylvania logo to our Riot Squad logo, Paul is everywhere.
Yeah. So he's like the secret, not secret, but he's like the Chaos Merch designer pretty much. Or whenever I have a crazy idea, I just message him and he's probably like, great, here comes Gaby again with like 5 other designs. But yeah, I don't know. I love helping out charities, and why not? You know, I have the time, I have the gear, so as long as I'm able to do it, I'm going to keep doing it. So
That's awesome. Like, yeah, you know, if anything, pandemic's shown us is who our friends are, but you know, the real character behind someone. You know, you can tell somebody's wearing a mask in just that simple fashion of just wearing a mask.
right.
You can automatically know, all right, you're in here for the right reasons. You don't care just about yourself, but you care about others. And not only that, you know, especially through like volunteering and community and, you know, charity. I'm kind of like you know, do good things will happen. And I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but volunteering was always instilled to me very young. My parents were always, my grandparents, I can remember, even because I lived in a small town with my generations, and, you know, either be through their church or just through the town or whatever. They've always were involved some way. Did you guys kind of come through those types of backgrounds too?
Well, I'm an immigrant, so when I was very young, we were pretty poor in a new country with nothing. So I remember we would get help a lot from charities or just around town looking either for food or clothing or for school. So I don't know. I kind of had that mentality was when I'm able to help, I want to give back. And I know Dre and I are working on hopefully something soon so that we can help immigrants. So hopefully it'll be in the next couple months. But yeah, I pretty much grew with that mentality of I was helped, so I want to help someone else. So.
See, I mean, we didn't have a lot of money growing up. I wouldn't say we were kind of poor, but you know, and then when my first few jobs that I had, I worked for different charities. When I was a decorator, I worked for a charity that gave people that were unemployed or the elderly cheap, like really cheap decorating work. things like that. And then from there, I worked for another charity, and I've always liked to give back, because at the end of the day, especially something like this, it's costing me is my time, and I can just do it and put something out there. And if somebody's going to benefit from, me sitting for a few hours and doing a drawing, then that's a great thing. And it's not, like I say, it's not impacting me really. And so why not? Why shouldn't I be doing these things? And, in the last few years, I've done various different things, and I want to do more. And I've had some ideas, but I don't know how. I don't have the logistics to do them, because I don't know how to do them.
Well, thankfully for you, there's a community of people here who do know, and that's the good thing. It's kind of planting the seeds, really. It's coming up and talking to just anybody about your idea, and especially in our community, somebody knows somebody. That's been kind of the cool thing. It's, when Laura and I go through this planning all the time, especially with camp, it's like, how do we get this? And then you can see Laura's, the wheels are turning, and she's like, give me a minute. And then she'll come back about 20 minutes later and it's done. And I'm just like, what just happened? It's almost like a whirlwind. But I'm sure, you start with a seed. Now, you guys did bring up, help. And Paul, you definitely brought up an interesting point that a lot of people are like, well, it's just my time. Imagine if everybody spent 1 or 2 hours of their week with their time helping somebody, what we could accomplish just as society, like time, although it might not be monetary, definitely has huge value in anything that you're trying to achieve, especially when it comes to helping others. Don't ever discredit the fact that, I'm spending just an hour here or there. It's something. It's, still an hour or two more than a lot of other people. And that, you just add those 1 or 2 hours, time adds up, it's definitely important. Don't ever discredit that you're just 1 or 2 hours here and there. It has impact, I see it.
Yeah, my 69-year-old dad is currently volunteering at the COVID vaccination centre where we live, and he's ushering people in and things, and he's been retired for a good number of years, and as soon as the option to volunteer, he was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. So he's now having to get up at 6:30 every morning when he hasn't had to for years, and go down and do that, just because it's something that needs to be done, and these things that need to be done. But yeah, one of my ideas that I had, I don't know whether it could be a basis against racist idea or what, but compilation vinyls seem to be doing very well at the moment. And I've been wanting to try and put something together, but I have no idea how to do it. I don't even know how the cost of printing, pressing, anything like that. But I've got an idea. That's all.
A lot.
That's all. Yeah, I know that. I know that it's quite expensive, but it's more if you can do it on a pre-order basis. Is it something that could be feasible? But who knows? But yeah,
if you have any experience with comps and vinyls, or maybe he's here now, I don't know.
You were right the first time.
Yeah, it changes when I edit. It's fun. I catch myself all the time.
There we go.
Yeah, if you know how to make comps and you know how to make vinyls, make sure you hit Paul up with, maybe help him out in his idea. I think it's a great idea. I love music. I like releases. So definitely something I would get excited about. You get my $25 or $30 or, add $5 there for donation. However you want to do it. But yeah, a lot of times it's an idea, just like Lynn had when she started this. It was just an idea. And look at, can you kind of give us a rough, last time we talked, it was about $2,700 she raised, just off an idea, by the way.
I think we're at 30, $3,400 now.
Wow.
That's awesome.
From the last time you guys talked, we had the other batch. And then my shirts are pretty good amount. So hopefully we'll reach the 4,000 amount. And then we're pretty much booked until, I would say, next summer. Like, it seems like it's next summer because Lynn's been doing an amazing job contacting people and like making it as easy for them to like Paul said, if it's hard work, just don't worry about it, like as easy as possible. And every week she's just like, hey, I got this person, and Paul's just waiting to design it, I'm just here waiting to print it, but it all comes together so well, and it's an awesome team to work with. Yeah, and now we have Europe distribution. We got T-Mom merch. So I was printing here and shipping all over the world pretty much, and it got too expensive. So then Inez from T-Mom hit us up like, hey, like I would love to be part of this in this side of the world. So we're testing the waters right now. So hopefully it starts to build up, but it's been awesome. So
yeah, it's crazy to think of the reach. And the cool thing about the internet now these days is giving you the capability for that reach, where before it might have just been with all this wouldn't have happened without the internet. Let's just it would have been crazy to do. But yeah, I'm always in awe of the amount of people that I've been able to meet and talk to and just work with because of this. Like, you know, and COVID. Normally I would have met somebody. I met Laura at a show, you know, and we just happened to stay in contact. But yeah, it's always those little things that just like, because when it's so simple, it seems like a conversation. It's just so simple, and to see it snowball into like other things is crazy to me.
Yeah, when we did a bungle from Barstool Preachers, like that opened up a whole other that side of the world, you know. So I was getting emails and like just how awesome they thought, you know, they don't have Black Lives Matter over there, but you know they have different types, but they were happy to buy it and support our cause out here. So it's been awesome. It's been overwhelmingly awesome. So
yeah, and Black Lives Matter, like, yes, it started in the States, but as somebody who's not American, and I'm sure Paul can say the same thing too, is we talk about it. It's kind of brought forth the conversation that we have these issues too as non-Americans. They're definitely, you know, not always the Black people, but yeah, it's definitely something that goes on in my town, which is only like 6,000 people and kind of nestled in, you know, backwoods. They had an actual march for this, you know, and you're seeing little towns and cities all across the world, you know, kind of standing in solidarity with you guys.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch, especially here in the States. So it's been awesome. Like I hope even if we give a couple $100, it helps somebody out. So that's pretty much our main goal, is to just help someone out, even if it's a couple $100. So
yeah, and thankfully it's been more. I mean, on my side of things, I don't really see the numbers so much because I get updates, but I don't generally kind of ask. I tend to ask after like the first 24 hours. But then generally I like to kind of wait and give myself that little kind of like, oh, what's it going to be? But yeah, it's, you know, the response to it's been great. And, you know, like I say, the anything that you can make is a good thing because it's giving that extra resource. And yeah, over here we had protests last year, but from the UK, like every day you would turn on the news and be like, okay, so what's happening today? And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where people are being dragged into vans, and it's like, how is this happening? You know, and then, you know, and too right that we decided to do this to kind of help do this. And I don't know what it's like in America now, because the UK media is kind of, you know, it's kind of dipped off, so you don't really hear anything about it. But
it's been so quiet.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
is-
What's happening?
Yeah, is it still happening? Are things still going on? Like, what happened? They just kind of forgot about it and
I mean, there's
moved
still
on.
things, but it's not. It's you don't turn on the TV every day and you see like orange douchebag.
Yeah, it's
Feeling
like so it's like
hatred.
when you have siblings, you know, how you're like poking and prodding and you're getting everyone fired up. Like we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't have somebody pushing everybody's buttons and getting everybody riled up anymore. So it's not as intense as it was every day. It's not that morning anxiety attack you have when you turn on the news every day anymore. And you know, like Gabby said too, it's not gone and it's not unfortunately going away anytime soon. But now it's our job to just kind of keep shining light and awareness on these things, you know, since they're not being blasted in the media like they were. We need to put them in a more positive light now and try and say, okay, we have these funds, we have this cause, we have these means to kind of donate and to help and to raise awareness. So let's do it, you know?
Yeah. What's it been like in America since Biden took office and Trump was out? Like what is the kind of general kind of feeling? Like
It's
the kind
a
of the
really
feeling
weird-
in the air.
Really
like,
weird world.
You know,
I think most people are super relieved, but at the same time, like we haven't been replaced with that much better, you know, if you really look at it. So yeah, that was step one, but now we still have a whole stack of problems that we're dealing with and we can't stop now, you know? And I think I think most of us have taken a little bit of time to say, okay, wow, that was insane for the last 4 years. What can we do to kind of get our shit together? And I think that's the boat that a lot of people are in right now, is that like aftershock kind of, you know what I mean? We're in the healing process.
Yeah,
I think trauma that we all just experienced for 4 years.
I think the best part out of all this is that the next generation finally sees through the bullshit that all of us punk rockers have been singing about since punk rock started. So I'm pretty stoked on that the next generation will not let what's happened the last 4 horrible years or the last 10 years. Like it's just so hopefully it gets better after this and not get worse. But
it does feel like a lot more people have like been unplugged from the Matrix and they're suddenly like, oh my God, like they can see it. But it must feel nice to not wake up every day and think, what's he going to say today? You know, it must be nice to have somebody that can actually, I know he's not, he was kind of not necessarily the best choice to take over, but he can at least like speak and things like that. There must be that kind of relief of doing.
He's not tweeting at 4 o'clock in the morning, you know.
Yeah,
these are good things.
Yeah.
It's and I know that I got quite emotional because I think was it around where you were, Gabby, where there was parades of people dancing in the streets and stuff the morning after the election. Was it Drea that was sharing videos? But like seeing videos of people in the streets like dancing on cars and just like this, it was almost like a giant sigh of relief and just let it all out and just be like, thank goodness.
It was like, to me, it was like one of the happiest days I felt like walking around on planet Earth. You know what I mean? Everybody that day was like, hey, how are you? You know, you could just feel that everyone was like, oh, thank God. And it was nice. I was in Syracuse with a couple friends and we were like, this is weird. Everyone's in a great mood. You know, everyone's outside happy. You know, like Paul said, they're hugging each other like, oh my God, we did it. And that was a really cool thing to kind of see. If I were in a bigger city, I think it probably would have been a lot more intense. But it was a really nice feeling, very uplifting and hopeful. You know, it lets you know, like, okay, we can come out of this. We are coming out of this, and there's other people who are happy to be coming out of this as well. So
I see a lot less Trump flags. I'm in Arizona, so it's red state, but it turned blue. Yay! So that was pretty awesome too. Like Arizona.
I think it's so crazy that people still have them up. Like it's fucking February.
I still see like Trump trucks. Like it's just like, dude, like get over it. It's over. Just sell your shit.
Yeah, I'm in central New York, so unfortunately the area is heavily red. Yeah, it's not cute. But there are a lot of people that are still, you know, flying them loud and proud, and I just don't. I'm like, you lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
That's
was it like?
okay.
What was it like for you, Gabby? Then, when before it flipped, you know, like living there, would you, you know, were people just like shouting shit at you? Like,
It's the Wild West out here. Nobody wears a freaking mask to save your life, and like it's it's bad out here in Arizona, but there's always those little cities that are like where I live in Mesa. They're pretty blue, like pretty awesome town, in Tempe too. But you always have that side of town that's as red as it gets, and Trump supporters, and we have a lot of old people here and a lot of snowbirds. So and they happen to be a lot of Trump supporters. So, but no, I never like got yelled at or anything because I don't really go anywhere. So it's like, but yeah, if I would see a Trump flag, I think the only place I go is Home Depot, and that's full of Trump people that don't wear masks. So I try to keep just go get what you need and get out. So like,
I
Do
thought
the
you were,
online pickup at the front.
yeah, pretty much.
I thought you was going to say, but that's full of hammers. And if anyone said anything,
That would have been funny.
It's
that is,
funny
that is what I thought you were going to say.
it's funny that you talk about that, you know, the older folks, because they remember a time where segregation was an actual thing. They still remember a time where, you know, African Americans couldn't go to school, couldn't ride the bus, couldn't, you know, use certain areas because they were designated for white people, you know. And as time is going, obviously there's been more of an openness, but sometimes that mentality's kind of still crossing over. You brought up the generation thing, and you know, I hope for where, you know, my kids stand and Laura's and Paul's is we talk to them and kind of make them aware of what's going on and have those conversations where normally, you know, me growing up, and I'm sure we didn't talk about it. We just, you know, it was something you didn't talk about. I, you know, grew up in a very white town. I think we only had 2 African-American families, and you did not talk about it. You didn't talk about them. You didn't talk about anything. And I never understood why we couldn't get to learn and embrace it. Now my kids go to school, you know, they have friends who are Muslim. They have friends who are Asian. They have friends who are Baha'i, and you know, we don't all celebrate Christmas, obviously. So, you know, in that situation, they actually have them and explain their religion and also talk about what their celebrations are, which, you know, they're tiny steps, but I think it's so much better than where we were, I want to say, even 20 something years ago.
Agree. And we have TikTok now. So that's
Kind of like bridge the gap.
right. Right. So all that younger generation, it's like they're pretty freaking smart. Like in some of the TikToks you see, you're like, wow, like that made me think about that certain whatever topic it is. So I have high hopes for whoever the new kids are coming up. So and before
if they write about them in the newspapers, then you know that they're on the right track, because they're like, oh my goodness, you know, the woke, which I hate the term woke.
I hate that term too.
Hate it. But yeah, no, my kids, I say kids, you know, my 18 and 17-year-old, you know, there's no kind of like bigotry or anything kind of in them, you know. And I don't know whether it's just because of the time that they grew up, or whether I did something. I don't know. I've never kind of been able to kind of pinpoint it. But yet, when I was at school, when I was like 5 and 6, I had a teacher who celebrated Diwali, and every year we would have a special assembly where it was all dedicated to that, and they'd do all the dancing and everything, and we learn all about it from like a really young age. And that's kind of from that age, it just, you know, you kind of learn these things, and you learn that that's just like the norm. Like not everybody is the same, and you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could tell you that that's how I grew up, but no, I was very much taught that, you know, you were white, you were Catholic, and anything else was, and that's such an unfortunate message, because it would have opened so many hearts much sooner had the message been different. No, we aren't all Catholics. No, we're not all white. No, we all bleed red underneath, and we all love, and we all have families, and we all have, maybe different traditions, but definitely not something. It took me a long time, and I definitely, I always questioned why we thought this way, and unfortunately made me kind of a little bit of an outcast, because you weren't supposed to ask those questions. But now we're able to have these conversations now in an open forum, and people are embracing it more, which is awesome. It's definitely, inclusion training. And I definitely have to put Punk as a very early teacher of that. Punk definitely taught me that, I hate the person for the things that they've done, not for who they are. And, anything other than that isn't good enough for a reason, and yeah, it's awesome to know that we're at a time where we talked about it with Jason Hall, where inclusion training is actually something going on. Inclusion training should have probably happened about 30 something years ago. And the fact that we're talking about it now in 2021 is fucking nuts to me. I don't get it. Good, we're here now, I guess, but yeah, we're a little 30 years too late.
At least it's happening. So
it is happening, but it's how do you change the mindsets of people who may have been taught this for 30 something years or 40 something years, 50, 60 years even, I do kind of have hope that some people are willing to listen. Not everybody, sadly, but, if presented with the right conversation, you might be able to open their heart just a little bit.
Yeah, like people always can change, like my mom. I mean, we grew up Mexico, so it was like super religious, and Hispanic people can be pretty racist. Like it goes all over the world. So like it was kind of like a culture shock coming here, because it was, from Catholic Mexicans to like everything pretty much open. So like it took a while, but mom was able to learn. Like, well, to me, I was free-minded. My mom never shoved religion on our throats, so you make your decision, and she was pretty hip for the time. And so eventually over time, mom realized that like people are people, and it's just people have the right to choose what they want. And so mom loves everybody now. So like, but she was taught in religion and how she was raised to like certain people or religion, and it, like they're not good, or they're lesser than you are. And it's total bullshit. So people can grow.
You hit the nail on the head there. They're lesser than you are was a very big message, growing up, that if they weren't like you, they're beneath you. And that's, can't be further from the truth. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit mentality. It's got no place now or ever. But yeah, I'm glad your mom and, I can say, my parents and my grandparents, their hearts have opened up, and they've allowed themselves to listen and be open about it. And, it's, yeah, gosh, the stuff, but yeah, we're not going to spend all day talking about it. We could be here all day. But yeah, even through school or through, at the time, the priests or, the sisters, there's all that shit. So I'm glad that, there's some pockets of people like my parents, like your mom, who have allowed themselves, because it definitely shines through on us and, the future generation too. Definitely those messages, you don't have to love everybody, there's going to be people out there that you're not going to agree with, but you're going to have to be respectful. The reason why you hate them have to be because of, could just be a conflict, but it doesn't mean that they're bad. If they killed someone, yeah, they're a piece of shit. If they, if you do something to those extremes, yeah, you're a piece of shit. I'm going to tell you right now, you're a piece of shit. But if you just love somebody, you're not a piece of shit. If the color of your skin's different than mine, you're absolutely not a piece of shit. It's those things, like they're tangible lessons that we can sit there and try to instill in our kids what should be good and what isn't good, and what is bad too. So it's definitely having those conversations. And I'm sure, Paul, you're the most seasoned parent here. I can only imagine the conversations that you've had to have with your sons.
Yeah, I mean, we've never really, like I say, I don't know if there's anything that I've actually done. Like, just through me being me, I've just kind of like never kind of been, in any way kind of been like, oh, that person there. So I don't know whether it's just through my kind of just my own behavior, as opposed to me kind of sitting them down and saying, right, this is okay, this is fine. But it was like, when they were very young, I always used to say to them, I'd mention like girls, and they'd be like, oh, girls, usual. And I'd say, look, one day you're going to want a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And that as like 6-year-old kids was like, what? And I was just like, look, I was like, basically what I'm trying to say to you is, no matter who it is, then don't feel like you can't tell me. Like I always kind of tried to instill into them that they didn't need to have that fear of coming to me to tell me. So whether it was just through little things like that, there's been things where they've said certain things and I'm like, you shouldn't really say that, but it's nothing to do with, it's just general kind of like when they're fighting with each other and they'll say something and you're like, whoa, okay, hang on. You can't say those words. But yeah, generally it's strange. But what you two have just said about your parents just proves that whole argument of like, oh, they were raised in a different generation is complete and utter bullshit, because it just shows that people can change, and it's not about when they were born and what era they grew up in. That is not the era that they're in now, and they've had 30 years to kind of grow. But yeah, it just proves that. But no, it just I think music has always been a good barometer for like how to be a good person generally, and I've always kind of leaned more towards the songs that are about being good to people, as opposed to it's probably why I don't own a lot of death metal.
You should, though. It's great.
Yeah, I did get System of a Down's first album on vinyl for my birthday. You're gonna love it. Oh no, I do like that. But no, I'm a feeler. I like to feel things when I listen to a song. So yeah, but yeah, I was going to say, somebody stop me. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Can you guys talk about maybe your future run, or are we still at the super secret stage?
I don't know. I don't know if Lynn's told us we can. We don't want to upset the boss.
Okay, so we don't want to upset the
No, I don't know if anything's set in stone for any of the months yet. I don't know if that's. I know that we've got names on a list, but I don't know if they're like ironclad of being like, this is the month that this person's being. Mm-hmm. So we're just kind of, I think me and Gabby are just kind of like waiting for Lynn to go, right, this is who it is. And we go, okay, here we are, let's do this. But we have got some interesting names, some of which I've had to kind of do a bit of research on, because I'm not necessarily as kind of well versed in their catalogue. And it's weird because the one that I'm most excited about is one that I'd not heard any of their music until I'd heard of them, but I'd not heard any of their music until Lynn mentioned that they were on the list. And now I'm like, how long have we got to wait? Because I want to do it now. I want to do it now.
Usually Lynn puts it all in a group text or like a group chat with the artists, and like, oh, here it is. Here's what we're doing. Send photos to Paul. And so we have a meeting tomorrow. So we'll know tomorrow who the what month are we? February, March. Artist
Yeah.
is. So.
It should have been tonight, but my birthday got in the way.
Gosh, Paul.
Now, how long does it take from the time that the orders stop and you start printing and then they're shipped out? Is that about a week or 2 weeks or?
Like a day. Like so. Like
damn, you quick.
I have everything at my house, so and Paul usually sends me like all the artwork when he's pretty much the first day he has it. So we pretty much have like a cutoff date. So we'll probably cut it off on the 26th of this month, and then I'll probably print on the 27th, ship on the 28th, and then March 1st will probably be the new person. So I like to ship everything before we announce the new person, so people don't accidentally add the last one. So it's a lot of fun because a lot of people miss out on shirts, and man, I get so many messages like, "Is this going to be available?"
It's like a limited run. You got to kind of collect them all, you know.
Yep. And we do have some crazy like. There's probably like 3 or 4 people that are just hardcore into these shirts, and like they're the first ones to buy them, and it's pretty awesome feeling like.
So the shirts themselves have like a fan base.
Right, and it's like, nobody really like. If you know the Venomous Pinks, you know who we are, but like a lot of people don't know who we are, and these people are just buying the shirts because it's the next Racist Against Racist shirt. So it's been a lot of fun.
There you go. And then maybe they'll find you through buying the shirt. But
yeah, it's like, you know, like going back to the comp thing. It's kind of like a comp. You know, you can find all sorts of new music through there. Like Paul said, oh yeah, maybe I haven't heard of this band, but they're in this series. Let me check them out. And then next thing you know, you're 4, 5, 6 albums deep, looking at stuff on the internet from 1994. You know what I mean? But that's awesome. Like, so, and that's just got to be a humbling feeling. Like, if you can open people up to new music, new artwork, also support a great cause, like, what more could you really ask for?
Right. Nothing more.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's pretty much it. And yeah, it's it was doing Gaby's design was actually probably one of the most challenging that I've done so far. Purely because the photo that I used as a reference was black and white, and you couldn't see her legs. You could see her shoes and her top half, but her legs were just kind of camouflaged by the background. So there was a few times we were messaging, and I was just like, I can't get your legs right, Gaby. I can't get your legs right.
For other people, that's a weird conversation, but not for.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of like tweaking when I do them. Like I'll do, you know, like the one of Miguel, when I did that one, we changed his head, because on the original photo reference he was looking to the side and you just got like a profile shot. So then we went through and found all these different photos of him, and then we like switched it out. And the same with the one for Gaby, because on the original reference photo you can't really see, well you can, but you couldn't see a lot because it was all hair. You know, as iconic as Gaby's hair is, we wanted to see her face as well. So I trawled Gaby's Facebook and found another photo where you could see her face, and just kind of like, you know, surgically remove the old head and put the new head on. So yeah, it's fun to come across those problems and fix those. So I like doing that, and Gaby, it seems like, upsetting people by telling them they can't have the last month's shirt. They can only have this month's shirt. So, but there's talks of, you know, like Gaby mentioned earlier, there's talks of, you know, potential represses at some point. We don't know how it's going to work, but you know, if we do these represses, then there might be slight tweaks to what was originally put out there, because, you know, we're still finding our feet, you know, so I feel like things are molding a little bit into a good space, and we're trying new things and trying different things, and, you know, even just putting the signature on has made a big difference. So who knows what it'll be eventually, but
yeah, I'm excited to see. You know, I do hope for that run, because there are some that I did miss. You know, fortunately I found out about a month too late. But I'm excited to see what you guys, and I'm only going by your hints, and you don't have to say anything, but I feel like you guys are going to be branching out to different genres of rock, or maybe not even rock. You might be going off different just basis, you know? So pretty cool that you're not just staying right in punk and you're actually branching out. I think that's a fantastic idea. If that's the right idea, and if I didn't just concoct an idea in my head and, you know, penning. But yeah, thank you guys again so much. Unfortunately, your time has run out. Now we are going to do a quick little shameless plug. Gabby, what you drinking today?
I am drinking today's sponsor, Liquid Death.
Ooh.
Thank them. They sent me a couple cases to try out, and it's delicious. I love sparkling water, so they hit me right on the spot.
Very cool.
So thank them.
Liquid Death. We don't get that over here. Is that just like liquid water?
It's literally water in a can. But it looks cool.
Water.
Yeah, this one's sparkling water, and they have regular water, but it's in a can, so you look cooler.
So much easier.
Yeah.
It keeps cold in a koozie. It's perfect. Now, if anyone wanted to buy shirts, Gabby, where would they have to go?
Just chaosmerch.com, and it's chaos with the K, so it's KAOS merch. Or literally just Google Basis Against Racist, and we're pretty much the first thing that pops up. Or just Google Chaos Merch. So.
And Paul, if anyone wanted to buy some shirts, where do you go?
Well, we're also doing the T-Mom for Europe, if you'd want a shirt there. So that's T-Mom, M-O-N, no, M-O-M, merch.com. Can't even spell it. That isn't mine, but that's where you would go if you wanted anything outside of America for Basis Against Racist. My stuff is zombieteethclothing.com. I'm Zombie Teeth Clothing on pretty much everything. If you Google Zombie Teeth Clothing, I think you get to about page 7 before it's not anything to do with me. Because it's just all stuff that's spread across various sites I've used in the last 10 years. So, you know, right. I'm everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. If you don't find them on zombieteethclothing.com, you'll find them at Chaos Merch. You'll find them, anywhere people are getting merch made, because chances are Paul designed it. Wait till you see the Camp Pennsylvania stuff eventually, right? Speaking
so soon.
So, yeah. You are watching this on the Friday. Stay tuned till tomorrow, where we actually...
Oh, yeah, we have a big announcement tomorrow.
We have a big announcement tomorrow, so we're very excited for it. We're not going to give you too many details. Just check our page tomorrow, and you'll get all the details. Guys, again, a big thank you for having both of you come on. You know, bit of a time difference. We're 3 hours before us, and then 5 hours after us. So, and Paul, happy birthday again, and we will see you guys.
It's not my birthday anymore.
Oh, that's right. You're 40 and 38 minutes old now, so how does that feel? Not to bum you out. But,
sorry, carry on.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. You guys have a wicked week. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and yeah, we'll see you later.
Thank you.